up, people? Welcome back. This is the first pandemic edition of On the Scene. Rob Lee is back. I know it's been a long time since you've seen me. I got in trouble. They fired me. It's a long story. But anyway, we're about to chop it up real quick. We got a dope actress, model, mommy. That's what Instagram says. Sarah CIGAN is here. And we're going to talk about her career, how she got started, what made her get started, and all that other juicy stuff that y'all want to hear. So I guess we should get started. How you doing?
Yes, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
It's always wonderful to have good people in the building.
Yes, thank you for sharing my Instagram bio.
No, I mean, it's always cool when you look at somebody's Instagram and get a little bit of glimpse into who they are, which is all work for you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's get right to it. What made you want to be an actress in the first place? A lot of people have their own motivations, but what's yours?
Yeah, so I started more in like theater and plays when I was little. You know, a lot of schools like to have like theater productions and stuff, and it always intrigued me. And I remember like when you ask a little kid what do they want to do when they grow up, and my first answer was always an actor. That was the first thing. Now throughout life that's changed a little bit through adulthood and stuff up until now. But yeah, I've always wanted to act since I was little. So just starting off like in grammar school, I did a lot of plays and I started, getting my feet wet like that. High school, I remember doing things like drama classes, one of my favorite classes.
What high school you go to?
King.
Ooh.
Where you go?
I went to Julie.
Oh, really? Okay, ghetto.
You see how she tried to do me? It's all right. But she said she went to King, right?
First of all, don't do King. King was the shit. Okay.
Julie, we got a pretty decent roster out right now, so I don't know if we want to do that.
You know what? Let me be quiet for y'all Julian people hop on this vibe and try to tell me about myself.
Jaguar Pride on too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I went to King. So King was great. But yeah, I had a lot of fun at acting. One of my favorite teachers there was Mr. Zavanik, who was my acting drama teacher there. So yeah, that was fun. And then I went to college and I kind of changed. Like I still did acting related stuff. I know my friends remember me still doing like acting related stuff in college, but that wasn't my major because I went through the kind of, I don't want to be a struggling actor and broke.
I need something safe.
Yeah, right, exactly. I need something safe. Let me try to make this degree count. So I got my bachelor's. I went to University of Illinois in Champaign. So I got my bachelor's in community health with a focus in health education and promotion. See, I had to think about that because I don't use it.
I'm sorry, that was a long ass major.
Yes, but it was fun. It was great while it lasted, and then like I said, I did little things in college while I tried to, pursue that degree, acting related, because it was still always my passion. It was just the one thing that I enjoyed doing. Graduated from college, got a job in my related field. It was okay at first, then it kind of changed to something I didn't like, and it was 2016, I think, 2015, 16, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to pursue acting full time. And that's when it just, I tried to take a leap of faith, and I put community health to the side because I realized I could be on set I realized this once I started working, but as an actor, but I realized I could be on set for, 14 hours and be like, oh, I'm ready to go the next day, 8 a.m., let's go.
You do 8 hours at the other job, you're like, man, I gotta go back?
Bro, I used to literally hate the job so much, I would want to cry going to work in the
So
morning.
it was more so, not so much that you hated the job, but your passion for acting was just that, your passion.
It was both.
I hate this job.
I ended up hating the job too. So, but yeah, no, my passion for acting definitely took the forefront of everything, and that's when I was like, you know what? I don't want to be 80 years old looking back in my life like, what if I would have tried to pursue the one career thing that I'm so passionate and so I just have always loved my entire life. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not gonna regret anything later. So here I am.
Now, what was the first instance? Everybody gets that breakthrough moment. Usually, I know we all in this room have had experiences with going on auditions and trying for this and trying for that. What was that first breakthrough moment where you were like, okay, I'm my foot's in the door here. All right, let's go.
Right. Oh man. So I definitely had a few projects that I kind of got my feet wet when I first started getting into the industry. So like, you know, short films and things like that. I worked with a Chicago director. He's in Florida now. His name's Raul Colon. And he gave me like a nice role in like my first kind of short film that, you know, had like great quality and everything. So that was fun. And then moving forward, I think even recently, I think one of my biggest roles that most people recognize me from is Black and Privilege, which is on Netflix, directed by Mark Harris. Hi, Mark.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah, so I think that was probably my kind of role where I was like, especially the fact that it went to Netflix. I think for, you know, any actor that's trying to make this a job where you can only work as an actor and make enough money from it, you know, getting things on, you know, getting exposure on platforms like Netflix and stuff like that is it's exciting. You know, it's exciting. We want to get exposure because that's how you get, you know, more money, more job opportunities. So, yeah, I think Black and Privilege, my character on that was, you know, thank you again so much to Mark for giving me that role and just trusting me to bring that to life. I think that was kind of like okay, I got my foot in the door a little bit, like let's hit the gas.
Now, if y'all have not seen her role in Black and Privilege,
Oh my God.
she real spicy. She real spicy. So,
Talk about spicy.
she's real spicy. If y'all haven't seen it, go check it out. I believe it's still up. Go check that out and see her in all her spice because she definitely went off. I was looking at that. What was it like that day? Like, run me through that day on set. How many takes did it take? Did they just let you go off the cuff, or was it strictly off the cuff?
No, you know what, and that's the thing too. I love about how Mark directs is he's very. As long as you get the message across that he's saying, you know, and you stick to, you know, you can stick to the lines, but he allows you to improvise and say, hey, if it makes sense, if you're feeling it, you know, go for it. So that role for me honestly wasn't that far from who I am personally.
What? You don't say.
I'm such an angel.
She did go to King.
What you trying to say? First of all, you trying to come in King. No. I did. Shout out King Girls. But yeah, you know, I can be a little spicy if provoked. I will admit that. So I didn't, you know, I just channeled myself and I just tried to think, you know, well, would I really react if somebody was being this disrespectful to me? So I think that's why I was also able to come off so naturally. And we did that. It wasn't too many takes, to be honest. My scene partner in that Harsh, he played the guy who was, you know, antagonizing me, the worker. He's great too. I love Harsh. So we were cracking up after the scene because he's the exact opposite of the role he was portraying. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't that hard to get into character that day.
Now, how did your life, or has it changed since Black and Privilege? Like you said, having something on that big a platform is a big deal. So what were you thinking as soon as you saw it, and how has your life changed, if it's changed at all, or professional?
Oh, well, you know, I'm living in a mansion now. I got 2 Bentleys. What? Let's see. I know, who I'm supposed to be working with next? Oh, Jordan Peele called me for the next big role, so no, none of that. Eventually that's coming. No, honestly, it hasn't changed too much. It was a great role, and I had a couple people that did recognize me. I remember going into an audition for another film that's in post-production that'll be coming out soon too. But I went in a role for an audition for that role, and the girl coming out, she recognized me. She's like, I don't know you. She's like, you were just in that movie on Netflix, and then these kids at the Walmart one time. It was a Walmart on 83rd before it closed. I know they're reopening it now, but yeah, it was like some kids, and they're like high school kids, and they were kind of staring at me like, were you in something? And you know, so that was fun. It was, you know, nice to be kind of recognized from that. But besides that, honestly, it hasn't changed too much. I've had people that saw it that in the industry that have reached out to me for wanting to work with me in the future because they liked my performance in it and everything. So it definitely gave me some good exposure as far as like connections and networking in Chicago. But yeah, I'm trying to push the gas even more. So.
Now you got experience in theater and film. Usually there's some type of beef there when it comes to film actors and screen actors. Which one do you prefer most, and why?
Oh my God, that's such a hard question, Rob. That's a very hard question. So I guess I prefer film because that's what I'm pursuing more so than theater. I would still, it's a hard question for me to answer because I love them both for different reasons, right? I love theater because it's the feeling of being in that moment. You don't get, if you
Right,
if
you
you
gotta
mess
get it
up,
right
you have
then.
to get it, and if you don't get it right, you have to have the creativity, you have to have the skill set, you have to have the experience enough to say, okay, you know what, let me flip this and turn this and improv it and make this work in some type of way, because things happen in theater. Any theater actor knows that things happen. Every single show is different. You have the same lines, the same writing, the same music, the same choreography, marks.
It's always different.
It's always different, and that's the beauty of theater, is that it is different every time. And it's a feeling that I get being on stage in front of a live audience, getting that live reaction. You know, you say your line, you do it a certain way, you hear people cracking up and everything. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And then film, on the other hand, you know, I love it for the simple fact of you literally are able to create this magic that's being captured, and that can stand the test of time forever, right? Once it's on video and stuff, you could keep it, put it out there on the internet, wherever it stays forever. And just having that, being on set with crew and doing different takes, and as tiring as it can be on set, because sometimes you have, you know, 10, 12-hour days. Like I said, I was on set one time for 14 hours. And then I had to drive home because we were shooting 2 hours outside of Chicago. So I had to drive home at 2 o'clock in the morning, didn't make it till 4. But it's just magical, man. So honestly, I can't choose between the two. I guess I'm pursuing film more right now because it's just, I love it. It's honestly, it's more money in film. Let's just be real. It's more money in film. If you can make it successfully in film and by success, I mean being booked continuously, it's more money in film than it is theater. But it is the magic about theater that can't be replaced by anything. So, sorry I didn't answer your question.
Because those of y'all in the GED section, when she was talking about doing the plays, you got to be able to play it off. Like when you mess up, you got to be able to play it off. Basically.
You do. You definitely do. That's when I realized theater I was really good at. So I remember being young in grammar school, and it was like a scene. I was playing Daddy Warbucks and Annie. Yes, I was playing Annie. And they had me dressed up with the hat, like makeup and everything. So I was playing Daddy Warbucks, and it was a scene where like the doorknob came off or something. It wasn't supposed to happen, and I said something, and I guess it was funny. So like the whole audience laughed, and I remember in that moment it was like 7th grade, 6th grade, maybe 6th grade, 7th grade. And in that moment, it was just like a feeling like, oh yeah, like I got everybody to laugh, and I was nervous because this wasn't supposed to happen, but I turned it into, you know, something else. And that's why I was like, you know, maybe I could be kind of good at this thing here. Let me try to pursue it some more.
Now, I was looking at a lot of your different clips, and you do have range. I was peeping at, like, you put the little glasses on.
Yeah.
And you do your thing. But you have range. Like, what's the hardest part about having range, though? Like, when you have to turn into that, what is your process? Are you a method actor? Like, how does that work for you?
I'm not so much of a method actor in that definition, because when you say method acting, some people, I mean, they really, you know, commit to certain things. And for me, it's a little harder having 2 little ones at home and, you know, having to do that. But
She's somebody's mama, y'all.
Yeah,
Can you believe it? She's somebody's mama.
Thank you. But yeah, no, my process, I get the script, I get an understanding of what the character is. I try to speak with the director and make sure our ideas are kind of in sync on, you know, what I'm interpreting it as. Once I get that, I go over, I try to see the different choices that I can make as this character. So if it's somebody that's so far from who I am, I actually have a project that's coming up that the role that I'm doing is, trying to think, but I don't want to say too much about it. But it's definitely something that is, okay, I can probably say this. So you know Kathy Bates from Misery?
I'm familiar.
Okay, so the movie Misery, the character Kathy Bates plays, and she's like kind of a psycho killer, but she's very like calm, and that's kind of who I'm channeling for that. So it's not the typical like rah-rah, like easy thing to play. For me, it's gonna take a lot to kind of get into that space, because you want it to be realistic. And especially on camera acting, everything is here, right? So you can't overdo it, it looks fake. You know, it really has to come from your own emotions. So I try to just go over everything, think about the choice. I'll set my camera up, I'll film myself doing it. I try to, you know, think about the experience that this character is having, and, you know, what in my life can I relate it to? You know, how can I relate? And if I don't have that much of a relation to that, let me go do some research. Let me look at videos, or, you know, talk to other people who may have been in that situation or experienced something similar. So really just doing your homework, and then when the time comes, you practice, make different choices, you bring all of that in together, and you just do your best when that camera turns on. do your best to bring whatever character, to life. So I'm very hard. I try to be very hard on myself as an actor. I believe a great actor does have range. So I try to do I practice different accents and just different types of characters and things like that I can do. So
I want to hear the British accent. I know she got it.
oh my
She
gosh.
said she got an accent. I want to hear it.
I don't know how well I can do it. Sometimes I try to I'll go right into it. Other times I do have to practice a little bit more. So I do.
Straight off the cuff with it.
I don't know. Even right now I can see a few flaws in what I'm doing, but again, if I was doing this for a specific role, I would sit there, I would look at my paper, I would try to see, listen to different accents, listen to different videos and things like that I could practice with and just make it as realistic as possible.
Somebody's been watching The Crown.
Thank you. I did, and I just watched what's the film? The horror film on Netflix, and Blythe Manor or something. Blythe Manor. It's on Netflix. It's a film, but it's a lot of English accents like this. So yes.
Well, there you have it. You asked and you shall receive. So, what is your most coveted role? I know for me, the role I would love. For some reason, I want to play that calm psycho killer role. I don't know why. It's just growing up, you watch the horror films, and those are always the coolest killers.
Yeah.
Who wants to do the rah-rah?
Right.
I want to be the calm guy that eats filet mignon So what is your most coveted role? The role that you just, it doesn't matter if you win an Oscar or whatever for it, it's I want to play this role and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it.
That's, what? It's funny, actually, my most coveted one is a role that never came to fruition. The project never came to fruition, but it was where I played I guess to sum it up, a crazy mental patient, basically. So it did involve me having to have that range. So I was normal, seemingly normal person, and then some stuff happens, and then she kind of flips, and you see this craziness kind of take over, and she does certain things. And that was an independent project, but it never actually came to
fruition. Don't you hate that?
I was so sad.
I hate that.
I was so sad, yeah. And I think I really think that I did well with that one. I think so.
Those are the worst. In case you didn't know, for those of you in the back of the room, a lot of times you end up filming, especially if it's an independent project, and funding runs out, or this happens, or that happens, and basically all of that work sits on the shelf, and nobody ever gets to see it.
Nope.
Which is quite unfortunate.
Nope, nothing. And I got I tried to get the dailies, which is the footage and your specific scenes from it. I tried to get that. It just and this was some years ago, so I was still kind of younger in the game and not really knowing how to maneuver or making sure that I get my shit. So yeah, I let that one go. But I think that honestly was my most coveted because it was so different from what I've played and just something that really stretched my acting skills. The role that I was telling you about, the next one that's supposed to be coming up that we're filming, the psycho killer one. I'm looking forward to that one because again, it is different and it's gonna take a lot of range for me. So yeah, that may be my next most coveted one. Hopefully, we'll see.
Now, do you have a role? Because I know a lot of people don't like to be typecast.
Right.
Pretty woman. So I'm pretty sure you get a lot of offers to do what might be considered for a pretty woman a typical role. So are there any roles that you just flat out say, no, I'm not playing it?
Yeah, at this point now, I think that I have developed enough of a reputation and have gotten enough experience. Not saying I'm the most, biggest person, but just where I am now in my career. I think I've earned the right to now be able to refuse certain roles and, things that, like you said, would typecast me or put me in a box. I've had people, different filmmakers and stuff approach me when it came to nudity roles. We're okay, why don't you show your top, or you're gonna play this, I don't know, this stripper who's doing some stuff with the guy in the back of the alley and blah blah blah. And it's nothing wrong with those roles, but for me personally, I'm big, I don't do nudity and things like that. It was a project I did where the production, my character did have a sex scene and or it was 2 sex scenes, and I spoke with production, and they worked with me, and they actually got me a body double.
Okay.
So I really appreciate that. They were awesome. They were, understanding about it. But that is one thing, like I'm big on. But and again, it's nothing wrong with those roles. But for me, especially if I'm playing something like that, it would have to be maybe something on a larger scale when I've gotten to a bigger point in my career.
Monsters ball type.
Right. And even
that's
then,
what basically what she's saying. Like, you got to pay for this, man. You got to pay me.
Okay, give me some checks. No. And even then, I will still be selective on what I do just because of the personality. I don't know. I just, so I'm not huge on like nudity and like sex scenes and characters like that. But yeah, I'm okay with, playing if somebody wants the typical, loudmouth, ghetto, blah, blah, blah. I can do that, but I don't want to do that so much because I know, like, I'm very confident in my talent as an actor. I'm very confident in what I can bring to the table and my skill set. I know, like I said, I know what I can do. I know how I get into my character in the process. So when you know your worth and you know your value, what you think that you should play, certain roles that you should play, you'll go for that. Again, ain't nothing wrong with them type of roles. Like, I would even maybe do it. It really would depend on the type of project. It would have exactly. It has to fit. It has to be organic. I've read scripts that people have proposed to me, and I've been reading the girl. It's fine, and then all of a sudden it's like some crazy sex scene that happens, or some crazy, like, she's getting naked, and it doesn't fit.
It just goes along, like, dude, the movie goes along, and you break into a 70s film all of a sudden. Like,
bro, I promise you, I've seen, like, stuff like that, and I'm just kind of reading, I'm like, I'm maybe not a great fit for this one.
I passed.
Because, and that's the thing, you have to be careful with that, too. And I'm not saying, luckily, I've worked with most people in the Chicago industry have been great to me. Very respectful, very understanding of everything that I've wanted as a talent and as an actor and everything. But you do have people that will try to cast a person for a role, and they'll try to put certain things in the script, like the nudity, like whatever, just to get you, just to see you do it, or just to get you because they have their own agenda. It doesn't fit. Yeah, and seriously, and I'll ask, like, well, does it, is this necessary for her to start, giving him fellatio at this part of the film? Does that really make sense? Does that make sense? Because I think that we could go without it, right? And then some people are just, no, it has to happen. And that's where I'm kind of like, well, some stuff I get it. They have to have this kissing, love-making scene here because it just doesn't flow if they didn't do it. Like, naturally, this would happen. I get that.
Basically, as long as it doesn't compromise the art. The art of what's going on. I see what you're saying, because that would compromise the art if it's like, okay, well, I just want to see her naked, so I'm going to write this naked part in here.
Right, exactly.
So, where did that come from?
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely try to be selective on it, and even if it's a role that's great, and the person isn't willing to budge on it, and they don't, it's no hard feelings. I say, well, there's an actor out there that would be perfect, that would not be uncomfortable doing this, let me not take that role up for them, because they might want to do that. So I just keep moving and, part ways. So I try to be as professional as I can with that, but also just know where I am now in my career, what I want to do, how I'm trying to brand myself moving forward, especially in a industry like Chicago. And this is so small. All the filmmakers, everybody knows everybody. Reputation is important as far as professionalism, what you do, how you treat people. So I try to be, I feel like I'm a nice person genuinely, so I try to be cognizant of that as well, and just, try to make the best impression and brand myself the best way that I can.
Okay. So what is your life when you're not on set, not on film? You're somebody's mama. So how does that work for you? How do you find the balance? Because I know even for myself, and I produce a Marvel, like, it's hard to balance all of these things. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes you're on set. I know when I did Beggar, I was on set for like 12 hours being chased by fictitious bats. And it was like, okay, I'm tired. As soon as you get home, they're like, did. So it's like, there's no time. So how do you find that balance?
Yeah, sometimes it can be hard, but I always tell people I'm so thankful that I have an amazing support system. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have a support system. I have 2 babies, so 2 is more than 1, and 3 is more. So the more you have, the harder it can be. But I have a great support system between my boyfriend, my kid's father. He's very supportive in what I do. So anytime I have like the interview, of course he's he has the kids. If I have to go somewhere, if I had to pick up and go to LA tomorrow for a few days, he sure, baby, I got it. You know, if he's not able to do something, my mother, my sisters-in-laws, like my father, myself, like I have so many people that help with, you know, my kids and help me to pursue this dream, because it does take a lot, and sometimes you do have to be away from your family for long stints at a time, whether, you know, you're on location shooting something, or even if it's, like you said, just a day, you know, 10 hours and your kids are missing you. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Besides being an actress, I'm a stay-at-home mom. So this is what I'm doing. I'm acting full-time and I'm being a mom. So if I'm not with my kids for a long time, I, you know, have that like mom withdrawals and I miss them, but just knowing that they're safe, they're taken care of, and that I am able to pursue what I'm doing now, it makes it so much easier. And I know a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have to take their kids with them to auditions. They gotta, you know, take them in a car wherever they're going. Like they have to miss out on certain things because they don't have anybody else to watch their kids. And I have so much respect for people like that. And it just makes me even more thankful that luckily, you know, I do have people that if I have to do something and I want to pursue this dream, they make sure that I'm able to make it happen. So just for that reason alone, I know I'm gonna be able to make it because I have that. So
cool. So what is something else that you want to do besides acting, like something that might correlate? Is there like a business venture you're thinking, like I want to start a fresh burger hut? Like what else?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What else do you want to do?
Honestly, I want to do, well, so this is kind of like a job too, but like modeling is cool too. I like modeling. We were talking about that off camera.
Right.
And I think I would love to really get to a different position where I am now as an actor, because I would eventually want to start like a production studio or something. Like I know that is, I don't know if that's a lot of actors' dreams. A lot of people I've talked to have said something similar.
It's usually, you always want to end up somewhere behind the camera, or you want your fingers in production besides just being in front of the camera.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the thing, like, and I do love being in front of the camera. You know, I would love to, I want to act forever. You know, if I can, I want to be Cicely Tyson. You know what I'm saying? 90 years old, looking like I'm 40, and you know, on camera stuff. So yes, she's amazing. So yeah, I'd say I would love to be someone like her and still be acting into my, you know, way later age, but at the same time, like you said, it can't be just that. You know, I do want to go in different ventures, even real estate. It's not acting related, but like real estate, you know, once I get to that position where I'm able to do more investing and stuff, I would love to invest in real estate. Specifically real estate in areas like I'm living in Inglewood now. We just moved there like a couple months ago. So I haven't been in Inglewood long, but like it's so much prime real estate there. Absolutely. And it's so many, and it's being gentrified. Absolutely. And
she said the G word.
Right. The forbidden G word. Right. But yeah, it's being gentrified, and I really believe in about like 5-10 years, maybe sooner, who knows, it's gonna be like how Bronzeville was. Absolutely. I remember when Bronzeville was the hood. Absolutely. We used to walk around there going to little stores and stuff, and now it's like, you know, you try to Okay, right. And you gotta have a little money.
We have Whole Foods and Panera Bread now.
And Panera Bread, right? So we're right by downtown. But yeah, so I would love to invest in and get property in the neighborhoods. I saw a quote from somebody who was an Inglewood resident in like a newspaper article that he basically said, it wasn't his exact quote, but he basically was just like, you know, you can't complain about gentrification if you don't own anything or you're not trying to own anything. I'm like, damn. That's real. That's true. That's deep. Yeah. So yeah, so I would love to just, like I said, get in a position where I can do different things, you know, maybe start a production company so I have more hands-on of the type of materials that are being produced, what's, you know, what people are saying, what I'm putting out there, and then, like I said, real estate would probably be the other thing I'd be interested in.
Okay, now, we were talking about this when we first got here. Okay. What's been the hardest thing about adjusting to the pandemic?
Oh yeah. Oh,
work, regular life, everything. Because I know, for me, this shit has been terrible.
Yeah. It's shut
throw the whole year away.
Right, and now we're back in super quarantine.
Right. Almost. See, don't speak that. We almost in super quarantine.
You know Lori locking us up. You know Lori locking us up. Rightfully so, though, because you know, the numbers are right.
Listen.
No, yeah, the numbers are right. People, I know people personally, like a ton of people right now that have tested positive for it, so it's real. Yeah. Me personally, my personal life, not too much. I'm a homebody anyways, to be honest. Like, if I'm not being on set or doing something acting related or like with my family, you know, I'm at home with my family. So I'm pretty much a homebody normally. I'm not a big, like, go to the club,
So it's
go
not
out.
a big adjustment.
It's not a big adjustment for me as far as my personal life. It's really affected, like most people, work in the industry. The industry right now, Hollywood is like in shambles because of things being delayed. Now we're back being shut down again. Investors, remember we talking, investors are scared. They're backing out. They're backing out, or they're not even doing anything. They're like, you know what? No, I'm not touching it. They're scared to put their money in. So it really has a domino effect of everything in this industry that's been happening. So that I think has been the biggest thing. It was certain things that were lined up that were supposed to happen. It was a premiere that I was supposed to have, like, that Wednesday was the premiere, and then that Monday is when they announced the shutdown back in March. So that was disappointing. Like I said, certain projects that would have gotten great funding now hasn't gotten the funding. Some stuff that was supposed to even happen just got canceled completely. So it's disappointing, but I think that, you know, you can either complain about it or you can adapt to it and make something out of it. I can honestly say that so far I've made the pandemic work for me in a lot of ways. And I definitely feel like I'm coming out on top more so with this pandemic than you know, being under and saying, oh my God, it just threw off everything I wanted to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so upset. But yeah, I've been trying to make it work for me, and it's things that are coming up that I'm looking forward to, that I'm hopeful by, you know, springtime next year, that, you know, the pandemic will be under control. So yeah, I think.
Biggest question with the pandemic: are you taking the vaccine? We asked that question. That is like the talk of everybody's timeline. Like, who's taking it? Who's not taking it? Why are you taking it? I'm on record. I'm not taking it. I can't do it.
No.
Because I just want to. Oh, you know what? Get 6 months. I want to see what happens. The first wave. How many people drop dead? Okay, I'm not taking it.
Yeah, no, I'm not like a big anti-vaxxer or anything. Like, I do believe in vaccines, and I believe in what they do for our population and things like that.
They made this shit too fast.
Yeah, and I still do, even like when my kids were getting vaccinated. I did my research on them. Certain vaccines, when they were first born, they try to give the babies certain ones, and I didn't get them because when I did my research, I'm like, well, wait a second, this vaccine, why is this necessary for them at this age?
Exactly.
No, I'm not getting it. So I try to do my research. So like I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but you're not going to give me no vaccine that y'all just rushed to come out with. There's so much, like, COVID is real. It is so real. But it's also real that politicians have taken it and turned it and twisted it for their own political gain. I don't trust that. You know, if you get the vaccine under control, maybe in a year, couple years, or whatever, we'll see what it does. I don't take the flu shot.
Me either.
I don't do the flu shot. So, you know, and I've been okay. So yeah, I just well, because you know the flu shot is like they're giving you the catch up. They're giving you flu, and they're also playing catch up. They don't know exactly what strain it's for, so they give you the latest vaccine for whatever the last year's strand was. I remember
people being vaccinated on a sliding scale.
Just basically, it's a chance. Like, literally, I remember my doctor saying last year when I was pregnant, and she was talking to me about it, she was like, this year's flu shot is only, I think she said it was only like 30% effective or something.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't even get the flu shot.
So stuff like that, just get up and walk out.
Like, no. So no COVID vaccine. Sorry. Hey, if anybody else want to get more power to you, but
but I feel you. I'm just can't do it. You made it too fast.
Yeah, I don't trust it.
You know, so it'll take 5 years. It's been like 6 months.
I don't trust it. I'm not. That's okay.
So, everybody has their bucket list.
Okay.
So we're going to do your actor's bucket list. Give me your top 3 actors you would want to do a scene with and why.
Ooh.
Dead or alive?
Question. Okay. God, that's a great question. Okay. So, I definitely would say my girl Viola Davis. She's just, and she's such a hot name right now too. So people are like, oh, of course you'd say Viola Davis. I love her. She's been, you know, even before she just got big, like what did she get huge from? I think more people started noticing her with like Scandal maybe, or
was it How to Get Away with Murder?
that's what I meant. That's what that's a Scandal.
I ain't gonna lie, cause I binge watched with the pandemic. I binge watched every episode of How to Get Away with Murder.
I did too. It's good, but she's just. I mean, her other films she's done, even like her theater. She's a phenomenal, and I would love to be on set with her and just like. I would just want to watch her, just do a scene, like just watch everything she does, where her eyesight is, how, talk to her, like how do you get into character, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, definitely Viola Davis. God, this is so hard because I have so many people.
That's why I said the top 3.
It's freaking hard. Okay. Oh, well, I'll say now, Journey Smollett. And then we were just talking about this too off camera. I told people before Lovecraft Country that she was an underrated actress. I remember telling a few people, I'm like, no, she's very underrated. A lot of people don't even give her that credit. And because she's just able to embody her characters, whether it seems like a character that takes a lot of depth, or maybe not so much like her character from Roll Bounce. Not necessarily like the most in-depth character, but she just does it so flawlessly and just so naturally. And then obviously now she's huge because of Lovecraft Country, where she just does an amazing job. So yeah, Journey Smollett, definitely. One more, let me give you a meal.
It doesn't have to be. This is your top 3.
I got like a top 50. Do we have enough time for the top 50 times? It's between Denzel and Will Smith.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna go Will Smith. We're gonna go Will Smith. Well, I mean, I guess because it's like, of course, Denzel Washington, but I don't know. I guess you could say the same for Will Smith. I don't know. This is a hard question.
So we're gonna make it easier. Okay, those were all drama-based top 3s.
Okay.
So now, give me a 3 comedic-based top 3 that you would want to like. Okay.
Dave Chappelle, instantly.
Dope, yeah.
Dave Chappelle, of course, and I don't know, like he doesn't do too many films. Like he does more of his stand-up. So I don't know how I would ever get a chance to work on his like stand-up, but I love Dave Chappelle. I mean, he's my favorite comedian. He's so funny, and because the stuff he says is so real, but he makes it so funny. So Dave Chappelle. Let's see. I would say I really like Regina King. I like Regina King.
Okay.
Her roles. She's just funny to me too. Her facial expressions. I like Regina King. And one more.
Not to mention she's the voice of Huey and Riley on the Boondocks.
Raw. She's so raw. And Regina Hall too. While we're talking about the Reginas, I would say Regina King and Regina Hall.
She gets left off a lot of people's lists.
Because I was trying to think of somebody
that does a hell of work. Like she's been in so many things.
Scary movies. People be like, oh, that's just like like a cult, classic or cult comedy or whatever. But even from that, the most recent one I saw her in was Little with I don't want to mispronounce her name. The girl, Marseille.
From
Blackish.
Yes.
Yeah. Love that show too, by the way. But so I think Regina Hall too. I love Regina Hall because she's always been funny to me, and she just seems like she would be, I don't know, cool, like dope person to be around. So probably those would be my 3 comedians.
3 comedians. All right.
Hard ass question.
Gotta make you think.
I know. Get them on the spot.
Yeah, gotta make you think a little bit. So, before we wrap this up, make sure you give the people all your social media and all that other stuff. We have a special gift for you.
Oh, thank you. I got my on the scene shirt.
We on the scene. We always on the scene.
Yes. My little Cardi B. Oh, yes. This is cute. Look at this. Is cute. Look, y'all do interviews with good people. You get good stuff. But yes, you can follow me. All my social media is Sarah CIGAN, SarahCigan. Sarah CIGAN. That's Twitter. I don't use Twitter that much, but you can follow me. Instagram and Facebook.
You're never gonna be there, but follow me.
Right. I don't be on Instagram that much. I'm probably on Instagram the most. So yeah, Sarah CIGAN on all social media platforms.
You guys make sure you follow all on the scene on all its social media platforms. You want to get in touch. You want to book. You want to give us some money. We take money. Make sure you call this number right here. Call Marvin Foster. gonna make sure that you taken care of. I am Rob Lee, guest hosted on the scene. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Rob Lee 103. And I guess until the next episode, I will see you guys later.
Yeah, see you. Thank you.